my next game, my next game was against Spencer Harmon and his ogres. He had your net ogre list. Big, massive, disgusting unit of Iron Guts. Level 4 on the Maw, level 2 Firebelly. There was Hellheart and Dispel Scroll between them. BSB, Armor of Destiny. 3 Saber Tusks, 6 Lead Belchers, double Iron Blaster, 4 Mournfang with Banner of Winning. And that was... Oh, and 3... Did I mention the 3 Saber Tusks? I might have. I don't care. I'll mention it again because they're important for this game. So, we got Battle for the Pass, which I love as Bretonnians v Ogres. And pretty much what it went down to is his Saber Tusk placement was too close to his Ogres. And it's a fluke chance because Ogre players have magic dice that let them make every single leadership test they'll ever be required to take. But fluke chance, Longbowman saved my life, picked off a Saber Tusk. Lead Belchers panicked, picked off another Saber Tusk. Iron Blaster panicked, and it completely screwed his whole lines in that nothing fled off the board, but it stopped his advance for 2 turns. And that's really all I needed. Questing Knights cleaned up the Lead Belchers. Grail Knights barely survived against the Mournfang, but then I was able to bring another lance into them and just completely clean up Mournfang, because Mournfang are garbage when they get charged by a lance. Not when they get charged by anything else, but when they get charged by a lance, they're kind of garbage. And then I managed to just throw my Challenge Lord into his big Iron Star. And since he can't refuse challenges from me because of the gauntlet, I was just pick up your champion, and then I win combat. Yeah, and then I win combat, and it doesn't really matter. So, at the end of the game, I got one of his Iron Blasters, all 3 of his Saber Tusks, his Mournfang, and his Lead Belchers. And he got nothing off me. No victory points off me. My list gave away 0. Because I wasn't ever going to move towards him. And I was just going to take the smaller win and just call it a day. So, third game came around, and there were 2 other Bretonnian players who had close to my score. And there was an Empire player, an Orcs player, a Lizardman player, and I think a Skaven player. And I did not want to play the Lizardman. I didn't want to play the Empire. I was okay playing Skaven. And I really didn't want to play Bretonnia. Because Bretonnia for me is a big game of chicken. So pretty much I was hoping to get the Orcs and Goblins, because Orcs and Goblins are an easy matchup for me, and that's a win. And then that would have put me in the running for first or second. But because it's my luck, I drew another Bretonnian player. And his list included a massive unit of men-at-arms, which I always consider men-at-arms to be garbage, and that's why I never take them. But when they're a big unit, and I can't break their steadfast, it's a problem for me. I mean, I think they were like 10 deep, and it was scary. Then he had this massive Lance of Knights, like 15 knights with a bunch of characters in them. And big unit of Grails, little unit of Errant, some Peg Knights, Bowman, and Treb. Woohoo. And pretty much, we got Battle for the Pass. Or no, not Battle for the Pass. Median engagement. None of my units got held in reserve. I think 2 of his did, which is fantastic. Um, and pretty much I failed 3 charges with my lances onto his lances and his men at arms. And he charged me. He charged my Grail Knights with his Uber Lance. Killed a few of them. I wasn't steadfast. I wasn't stubborn. He broke them, ran them down, and got behind my other 2 lances. And right there, I knew the game was over. Because no matter what I do, he's going to grab another one of my lances. And I can't get away from him. Because knight on knight action, lance on lance, I won't be able to run away from him because I'm too long and he's too close to me. So he's going to have a turn of reforming, but so will I. And then since he went first, he's going to be charging me first. So there's no way I can get to him without him hitting me first. So right there, I kind of knew the game was over, but I just decided, screw it, I'll play it out, see what happens. So I sent my other 2 lances into the men-at-arms, which, hindsight's 20/20, but looking back on it now, would not have done that. It was not worth my time, my points. It just wasn't worth it. And on top of all this, on top of it all, on top of failed charges, being broken on a charge, on top of everything, my dice were just going to shit, in all honesty. And when that happens, you kind of know that this really isn't the game for you. Because while I'm off, my other 2 lances are off slapping around peasants. My questing knights are actually trying to win me the game, and they mulched up his treb, his bowman, and then I managed to block off a charge just enough with my peasants to where his general tries to solo into my questing knights. His general's the heroic killing blow, reroll to wound, fun guy. And I get him in a challenge. No, I don't even get him in a challenge. I just give up my ward save. I'm like, sure, have it. And I beat him, and I fail to catch him by an inch. And it wasn't a big win to him because I managed to keep my knights alive, like both my lances alive. I just lost my BSB, and my Grail Knights, and all my peasants, which isn't a lot of points, but considering all the points I got off of him were his bowman and his trebuchet, because I failed to run down the men-at-arms with 2 lances, because why not? So it was like, it was a pretty bad loss to me. I think a 13-7. So with all that tallied up, we went, those were the 3 games. Overall, I'd say 3 pretty good games, but the 3rd game was kind of lackluster in the fact that after turn 1, I hate to be this guy, but I really didn't want to play that game. I just knew how it was going to happen, and yeah. So, out of 24 people, I took 6th, which barely eking the, top 25%. I'm fine with that. I mean, it's not bad. I wasn't running for first.